Here are some theists who seem to think that atheists have unreasonable epistemic standards.
So can we prove that God exists? I think there are evidential trails, but not proof in the sense of a mathematical proof like 2 + 2 = 4. I think what we use is a sense of arguments that look for what we call the argument towards the best fit. Cumulative case arguments. So we look at various things like in a murder case or a case trying to prove the issue of the guilt of someone in a crime. You have to gather evidence from many different pieces, and the cumulative case argument adds up. In that sense, I think we can point towards the existence of God, the probabilities.
Well, no, you can't. Not only does the evidence fail to add up in favor of the existence of God, it's not clear what God even is. And you have to work that out before you can even have any idea what evidence we should seek.
But it's not the same as a mathematical proof.
If by prove we mean equating it with 100% certainty, then no, we cannot prove with 100% certainty the existence of God. But is the existence of God the most probable explanation for all that is? I think we have reasons, we have arguments that have come down through history that make the reasonableness of God and God's existence very, very probable and likely.
How exactly do you calculate the probability of the existence of a timeless, spaceless, omnipotent, omniscient, disembodied mind? Even if you could show that the universe is likely designed, or that there is some consciousness that has some kind of control over it, it would be far more reasonable to suppose that this consciousness is some kind of extraterrestrial material being than it would be to suppose it's a disembodied mind. Perhaps it would live in a different space-time continuum rather than being totally independent of space-time, whatever that would even mean. Material beings are far more likely to exist than immaterial ones because we know material beings can exist. We have no certainty that immaterial beings exist or are even possible.
What do we mean when we say prove? Everyone should have a certain level of certainty that they're looking for, and 100% certainty is just out of the question. We can't be 100% certain that we even exist. We can't have 100% certainty that we're even here when we're talking from a philosophical standpoint. So the question is, how much certainty are you willing to have before you act or believe something? And that's what we need to come up with, thresholds of certainty.
If you want me to be convinced that God exists, you don't need to give me an incontrovertible apodictic proof. I'm not looking for that degree of proof, and I don't think most atheists ask for that degree of proof. All you need to do is give me 3 things. 1, a coherent definition of God. 2, a set of empirically testable and falsifiable predictions based on the supposition that God exists. And 3, test results that match those predictions and are more parsimoniously explained by God's existence than any other hypothesis. As best I can tell, apologists have failed to meet even the first requirement.
Most of the time when people ask that kind of a question, they're looking for the type of proof that we really only find in mathematics and maybe some of the hard sciences. But that type of proof is really not necessary, it's not even helpful when we are trying to determine whether or not God exists and what our relationship with Him should be.
I don't know of anyone who is really asking for a mathematical proof. I'm not looking for a demonstration that makes me as certain that God exists as I am that 2 + 2 = 4. I'm just looking for evidence that makes me as certain that a God exists as I am that atoms exist. I don't believe in atoms because their existence has been mathematically proven, or even because I can see them. I believe atoms exist because they give a description of matter that makes sense, that can be used to predict the behavior of matter, and because competing models are either not as effective or not as simple.